Today we will be discussing the year-end closing process for fixed assets in Microsoft Dynamics GP. There are specific orders in which you should close each module in Microsoft Dynamics GP. They are as follows: inventory, receivables management, payables management, fixed assets, general ledger, and if you are using analytical accounting, you can close that module as well, and payroll. Please note that payroll closing procedures are independent of the closing processes of other modules within Microsoft Dynamics GP. Here are the necessary steps to perform your closing. First, you will perform all the year-end closing procedures for payables management in Microsoft Dynamics GP. This will ensure that any new adds for assets have been performed within the fixed assets module. Then you will want to enter all fixed assets transactions for the current fiscal year, depreciate all assets to the last day of the current fiscal year, perform the GL posting process, which this step is an optional step, run any year-end reports that you want to keep as part of the year-end financial records, guarantee that the fixed assets calendar is built correctly. Again, this is another optional step. Verify that the quarters are set up correctly for all the fiscal years. Create a backup, and then perform the fixed assets year-end closing. So let's take a look. The first thing you will want to do is to perform all the year-end closing procedures for the payables management module. This action guarantees that all the outstanding fixed asset transactions have been capitalized. The second step will be to enter all your fixed asset transactions for the current fiscal year. These should include any additions, any changes, any transfers, and any retirements that you need to do for your current fiscal year. Please note that transfers and undue retirement transactions should never be performed in a historical year. The third step will be to depreciate all your assets through the last day of your fiscal year. To do this, you'll go to Financial and the Routines, as we have pulled up here, and then you'll do the Depreciate. Please note, it is very important to depreciate all assets through the last day of the current fixed asset fiscal year. If all assets are not depreciated through the last day of the current fixed asset fiscal year prior to processing the year-end close, depreciation amounts will be incorrect. The next step will be to perform the GL posting interface once you have done your depreciation. To do this, you can close that window and then go to the GL posting window and click on the looking glass, and you will see a list of all available batches. It should just be the one that you just created for your depreciation. You'll select it, you'll enter a posting date, and then you will hit process. Step 5 will be to run any year-end reports that you want to keep as part of the year-end financial records. The year-to-date depreciation amounts for previous fiscal years are not kept in fixed assets management. Therefore, you must print any reports that contain this information before you close the year. There are several reports available for fixed assets. We recommend that you print the following reports: the Annual Activity Report, the Additions Report, the Retirements Report, your Transfers Report, the Depreciation Ledger, your property ledger, and then the fixed assets to general ledger reconciliation report. If you have more than one fixed asset book, we recommend that you also print the following reports: the book-to-book reconciliation, the book-to-book year-to-date depreciation comparison, Step 6 will be to guarantee that the fixed assets calendar is built correctly. This is an optional step. However, it is good to take a look to verify that your calendar is built accordingly. To do this, you'll go to the Setup portion in GP 2013. If you are in a GP 2010 or a previous version of GP, then you will go to the Utility section in the Build Calendar. And here you will select your calendar, and then you can verify that all of your calendar start and end dates are set correctly. You also can set whether you have a short or a long year, and then if you need to rebuild the calendar, you can click the Build Calendar. Verify that your quarters are set up correctly for all the fiscal years. This can be done under the Fixed Asset Setup and then Quarter. You'll select a calendar year, and then you'll want to verify the first quarter, second quarter, third, and fourth. If you're in a previous version prior to GP 2013, your window will look a little different than the one you see here because I am logged in to GP 2013. Step 8 will be to create a backup. This backup should be stored off-site together with the rest of your year-end documentation. It gives you a permanent record of the company's financial position at the end of the year. Additionally, this backup can be restored later if it is required. Making a backup guarantees that you can quickly recover if a power fluctuation or other problem occurs during the year-end closing procedures. To create the backup in Microsoft Dynamics GP, follow these steps. You will want to make sure that you're logged on to the SQL Server where your Dynamics database exists. You will have to be logged on as the SA user, which is the System Administrator user. Once you're logged into GP on the SQL Server into the database that you need to make a backup of, you will go to Microsoft Dynamics GP, Maintenance, and Backup. You will have to know your system password. In this window, you will select the company you're making the backup of, and then you're going to want to select where you want the backup to be saved to. Once you have made that selection, you're going to hit OK. Now you're ready to perform the Fixed Assets Year-End Closing routine. To do this, you will go to the Routine section under the Financial module, look for Fixed Assets, and then click on the year-end. Click the book that you want to close, and then click the Insert button to put the book into the Selected Books column. You will want to repeat this step until all the books that you want to close have been inserted. Note, Microsoft Dynamics performs the following procedures during the year-end closing routine for fixed assets. In the Asset General Information window, the quantity field is copied to the Begin Quantity field of the Expand Quantity window. In the Expand Last Maintenance window, the year-to-date maintenance amount is cleared. In the Asset Book window, the year-to-date depreciation amount is cleared. The following procedures are also performed. The Cost Basis field is copied to the Begin Year Cost field. The Life-to-Date Depreciation field is copied to the Begin Reserve field. And the Salvage Value field is copied to the Begin Salvage field. In the Book Setup window, the Current Fiscal Year field is increased by 1. Please note that a report is not generated during the Fixed Assets Year-End Closing routine. If you want to make sure that the process is completed, then you can always go to Microsoft Dynamics GP, Process Monitor, and it would display if there was a process running in the background. This concludes the presentation of the closing process for fixed assets in Microsoft Dynamics GP. Please refer to our other Microsoft Dynamics GP videos for the year-end closing procedures of those modules. This concludes the presentation of the closing processes for this module. Please refer to our other Microsoft Dynamics GP videos for the year-end closing procedures of the other modules.